Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Family Survival weekly 15-minute podcast. This podcast is filled with tips and tools to support the entrepreneur spouse, ex, or family through the emotional and financial ups and downs of an entrepreneurial relationship. Hello, it's Joanie Winberg, certified human behavior consultant and divorce mentor. Today I have with me my guest Kevin Garrett, who is a financial advisor, and we're going to be talking about how can a financial plan positively impact your financial future. So hello, Kevin, and welcome.
Hey, Joanie, how are you today?
Oh, just great. And I love doing a podcast, and the point of it is laser focused to help people. We're giving them tips and tools of 15 minutes worth and keeping it to, I guess, what society is today, busy. So let's talk about that. How can I financial plan, whether you're an entrepreneur or not? We all still need to plan for the future, our financial future, and how can that impact us?
I find many of the people that come to and talk to me really think of financial planning as more investing and what should they invest in, and the idea being that if they're investing in Apple or Exxon or some other company, that they are planning for the future by doing that. And really, from our standpoint, we believe that's a little bit different thinking than what they should be thinking about. And where we go with it is more, we think first about focusing on people's long-term goals, plans. When do they want to retire? What does retirement look like? In some cases, maybe retirement isn't really retirement in the traditional sense of retiring at 65 and dying at 72, which is maybe what previous generations dealt with. But in this case, we're all living longer. Medical advances have allowed us to live a healthier, longer, and more active life. But that also creates challenges in terms of making sure that our money outlives us. So what we focus first on is the plan, and then we say, in the case of if you're not enjoying your work today, what is it that you need to do? What steps can you take to perhaps change careers, maybe making less money but enjoying what you're doing more, and perhaps working longer, and which ultimately, for every dollar that you earn, that's a dollar that you're not pulling from your retirement account. So it's really important from our standpoint to focus on retirement first, and then we create the investment strategy that is more consistent with what what your plan for your life calls for. And in many cases, we find that people are, because they don't have that plan on the front end, that what they're doing is they are in some cases putting themselves at more risk than is necessary to meet those goals. And so we try to direct and guide them through that process so that they have an investment strategy that is coordinated with their long-term goals.
And also, as an entrepreneur, like you said, we're all entrepreneurs, and we're probably not all thinking of the normal retirement. We love what we do. We're passionate. And even if we go part-time, we're still loving and doing what we do. So that can be considered as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's in fact, that's where I think the entrepreneurial spirit often kicks in, is when people realize I don't want to keep doing what I'm doing, or I'm working for somebody else, or I don't have control of my own destiny. Whereas, as you know, being your own boss has risks, and it has lots of returns. And so that's some of the conversations that we have around the idea of saying, if you don't enjoy what you're doing today, life's too short. Let's talk about what it is that you can be doing. And if you're currently an entrepreneur and you've got your own business, in some cases, maybe the conversation is not, changing careers, because you may be loving that, but it may be more around the issue of how do I maybe do a little less hard work. I mean, we joke around here. I'm my own business owner as well, and I joke about the fact that while I'm a business owner, nobody gets to tell me which 80 hours a week I work. Yeah. The reality is it is hard work being an entrepreneur, and as we age, maybe we want to do a little bit less of that. And so we have conversations around what it is that you need to do to perhaps divest yourself of some of the activities that you're currently doing, and in some cases even maybe divest yourself some of something within some of the company ownership that you have, so that you can get the cash from that, monetize the work that you've done over the years, and again, the overall theme being live the kind of life that you want to live.
Is it something of making sure that you're saving? They always say save a certain percentage, or try to pay yourself first and invest that. Is that what you would start somebody off with, doing something like that?
Well, it's going to depend. Everything is going to be dependent on the individual. So we can make some generalizations around spending habits, saving habits, investing strategies, but they all go together. So it's if you're spending if you're saving a lot but you're spending more than that, that is probably a bad road to be on. But at the same time, we also talk a little bit about from the spending side. If you are in such good condition, and I have clients who have worked very hard to be in a position of strength within their financial plan, so they're actually their conversations are more centered around making sure that they're living the kind of life that they want to live, and maybe take more trips, maybe live a little more freely, and not worry so much about trying to save every dollar if you don't have to. So it's very individual, it's very unique per person, but the general theme around it is, how much are you spending, how much are you saving, and what kind of investment strategy do you need to have in place to meet your goals.
So it's you would actually sit down with somebody just starting and kind of review everything, like you said, whether they're working for someone else or their dream is to become their own boss, and then look at that strategy as well.
That's right. Yeah. Every new relationship that we have with a client starts with getting to know them first, and trying to first of all understand what their concerns are, what their goals are, what keeps them up at night. I usually, the first question I ask is, what's your number one concern? And that typically leads us into a host of directions. But at the end of the day, I think that it's our responsibility as financial advisors, in order to give the best advice we can, we have to understand what it is that the clients are looking for, and it starts with a big picture discussion.
And we're also out there, our goal here is to also support, say there's a spouse of an entrepreneur, or there's an ex of an entrepreneur, and they've lived that lifestyle where there's the entrepreneur and then there's the spouse, and we both come from the same background. We know there's a difference there. So maybe that spouse or that ex may be coming to you and say, now it's time for me to live my dream. And so it would be handled the same way, to help them understand what they want for their own future.
Well, that's right. And I think that in many cases, we as entrepreneurs become so focused, and I don't think it's intentionally self-centered, but it's hard work. It requires a lot of time and energy, and sometimes we forget the most important people are the folks who are supporting us, and in many cases, they're the folks that are maybe some of their dreams, their goals have been deferred for a period of time for the interest of trying to grow that business. So part of that process is to make sure that those folks' voices are heard as well, and that those are also baked into and accounted for in the long-term family goals that we put together for them.
Perfect. Kevin, this has been great information. I know we probably just touched the tip of the iceberg, but also as far as a way a person could connect with you, Kevin, or your website, give us some form of connection here for you.
Sure. Well, while we are based in Atlanta, we have clients all over the country, and usually the best way to start just learning a little bit about what we do and how we help our clients is to go to our website, and that's www.kevingarrett, that's KevinGarrett, and then the letters IFG.com. So KevinGarrettIFG.com. You can go on there, learn a little bit more about our process, how we go about doing things, and there's also numerous ways to contact us both by phone and by the internet.
Perfect, Kevin. Well, we want to keep it to that 15 minutes, as we said, because we want to be laser sharp here for them. And also, if you'd like to review this video, and it will be a podcast as well, you can go to entrepreneurialfamilysurvival.com. So that's entrepreneurialfamilysurvival.com. And then we also have some programs there to help you get back on your feet, both emotionally and financially, if you're a spouse or an ex of an entrepreneur. So, Kevin, thanks again for being on our podcast here of the Entrepreneurial Family Survival, and we appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Joanie. Thanks for the time today.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.